This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree.
Good morning and welcome back to LCTV News. I'm Danny Vittori, and this week was full of events. The president of the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund came on the Lowdown to discuss their annual gala. For events, the city displayed new ideas, celebrations were held, and organizations received support. Here's the news for Friday, May 5th, 2023. SkillsUSA had a phenomenal showing at the state competition last weekend with several students capturing titles. The program, run out of Lynn Tech, was also recognized as a national model of excellence, with one of their seniors receiving a scholarship. According to a statement by the group, quote, "The Lynn Tech SkillsUSA team captured 19 state championship titles at the recent State Leadership and Skills Conference. Lynn Tech SkillsUSA program put their program of work to the test and competed against other career and technical high schools all across the state of Massachusetts. Not only did Lynn Tech come away with 19 champions, but 14 of them won a first-place finish and will now move on to the national competition in Atlanta, Georgia in June. Lynn Tech was also once again recognized as a national model of excellence, a title only given to 24 of the 20,000 chapters nationwide. The students will compete and hope to repeat again as the national model of excellence in June," end quote. Graduate students from the Harvard School of Design put on a showcase to display projects completed for their class, Lynn, a Greater Gateway. Ranging from affordable housing to development to the growing population, students explained their proposals for visitors to the show. Take a look.
This is a showcase, so these are students from the Harvard Graduate School of Design. These are urban planning students, and this is a class called Lynn, Greater Gateway. We've been working since late January, basically, here in Lynn. And the idea was to think about what does it mean to be a gateway city. Lynn's a gateway city. One of the best things about it is how diverse it is. And how do you think about investments in transportation, in housing and so forth? How do you tailor those investments to really benefit people who are new Americans?
My project today is focused on urban heat in Lynn. So during the summer, Lynn is heating up a lot. Sometimes it's even hotter than some of the hottest neighborhoods in Boston. And so my entire project is basically saying that we need to start tying the technical solutions to urban heat with really meaningful community engagement, because we know that with urban heat, different vulnerable populations are going to experience heat differently. Some of the solutions that I've had here are falling into the buckets of mitigation or management for urban heat. So we have things like green roofs, painting roadways with paint, having permeable surfaces, but then we also have interventions that manage heat, re-envision what some of those hottest places are, as well as Lynn Commons, which is currently serving as a bit of an oasis for urban heat.
My project is focused on scenario planning for equitable growth in downtown Lynn. This is a neighborhood that has a large percentage of immigrants, of refugees, of communities of color, of lower income communities, and a major challenge that the city is facing right now is that a lot of this new development is market rate. And so what I'm proposing are really kind of a number of sort of scenario plans to take 3 districts in downtown Lynn right now, these 3 parcels right here, publicly owned parcels as sites of new development for downtown. So using these to create new value in terms of more market rate house, or more affordable housing, to create more green space, and to use these to create value, to generate interest, to have more affordable housing, to really leverage and take advantage and direct this motivation, to direct this desire for growth within Lynn, to make it a more livable place, make it a more affordable place for everyone that's there today.
We're trying to create access to the waterfront. The waterfront of Lynn has a lot of development that's proposed in the future. It also has two huge barriers that block people from accessing it easily, the Lynnway and the railway. And so what we're proposing with our project is creating an easy way for residents to get from West Lynn to the waterfront. First, the phase is to take advantage of the existing components that are on the site. But what we're proposing is actually using all these disparate parts that are disparate components on the site and kind of combining them with the civic spine. Continue it over the bridge. So we're proposing they change the site, which is right now proposed at the end of the river, to actually move it up here. Use it as a way to go over the railway and cross the first physical barrier we mentioned, and then continue down all the way past the auto body shop. So we're proposing that with our project, it's inclusive of the future development and actually encourages the future development to still think about the community. And lastly, we propose that, it goes all the way down and extends to the fishing pier.
The City of Lynn is now offering Narcan kits, which are all equipped with 4 mg of the medicine. This can be a life-saving medication when used on a person experiencing an overdose. It was approved in late March by the FDA for over-the-counter use where no prescription is necessary. The city is striving to make it more available for all those who need it, as it is typically around $250. But people can get it from City Hall for no charge, no questions asked, and no insurance is needed. Lynn is obtaining this medicine from the State Office of Pharmacy, and the program is available to local health departments, human services, and many other organizations. The city is also hosting monthly training sessions, teaching people how to properly administer Narcan. The next course will be on May 9th and is an hour long, with instructions in both English and Spanish. One of the hopes is that by making Narcan more accessible, it will reduce opiate overdose deaths. Lynn Museum, in collaboration with several other organizations, hosted another edition of Final Fridays on the 28th. Residents were entertained with live hip-hop performances, art exhibits, and art displays. Here's more from the event. On Friday, April 28th, the Lynn Museum hosted another installment of Final Fridays in collaboration with galleries at Lynn Arts, Beyond Walls, and the Lynn Music Foundation. At Gala, members of the community gathered for a drawing class, as well as came to admire the art in their green exhibit. The exhibit runs until May 17th. The Lynn Music Foundation then hosted live hip-hop performances at the Lynn Museum.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. PSA. We are live at the Lynn Museum for the very start of the Lynn Hip Hop Wall of Fame voting commencement. We got tons of artists here tonight. It's brought to you by the Lynn Museum, the Lynn Hip Hop Foundation. I'm Me.Be.You Apparel. Bentwater Brewery's in the building. We've got live art. Zahira is here. She's doing live art. Janiyah Spencer's here, she's doing live art. There's a lot of things going on, so even if you're not like in the mood to get down with the groove and the music, you can still come in and enjoy yourself. The museum is open for you to walk around and look at things if you'd like to look at things. But for the most part, it's gloomy outside, so come outside and then go back inside, but with us, and have a good time. Shout out to Lynn Community TV for being out here with us. We definitely appreciate that. Other than that, it's your boy, Mr. PSA, over and out. I'm about to switch mics because from this one, I go to this one, and then we have fun. Yes!
For LCTV News, I'm Danny Mattori. National Grid is now accepting applications for their Changing Our Future Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Engineering Scholarship Program. Their inaugural year was 2022, where they awarded scholarships to 5 students. This year, up to 12 students will receive up to $10,000, as well as a paid summer internship with National Grid in one of their Massachusetts or New York locations. It is open to both high school and college students who are interested in a career in energy or engineering. Other criteria are coming from a household that makes less than 80% of the HUD median, attending school in Massachusetts or New York, majoring in an engineering field, maintaining a GPA of at least 2.8, plans to enroll or currently enrolled in an undergraduate program, and accepting a summer internship with National Grid. The Khmer Center hosted a parade and festival at Lynn Common in celebration of the Cambodian New Year. People lined up to see performances and try food from a variety of vendors. Here is more.
This past Saturday, April 29th, the rain held off and the Khmer New Year Community Fair was held. This fair fills the common with traditional Khmer music, dances, and food, along with vendors and information tables. Happening for the first time in 3 years due to COVID-19, Khmer Center Inc. has put on this event for 12 years down on Lynn Common.
Khmer Center Group. We have been exist in Lynn over than 20 years. We have a 12 board member, and also we have over than 50 volunteers who can help us.
Lynn has the third highest population of Cambodians in the nation, and this fair is a way for thousands to appreciate and learn about Khmer culture.
Our goal is try to show our culture, try to keep our culture alive, to teach our next generation. So every year we continue to do this event every year, and to show our culture and to share our support to our community. Also, we want to let the world know that we are Cambodian, we care, we protect, we try to save our culture no matter where we live, no matter where we go.
Happy New Year!
Even under rainy conditions, 278 people participated in the 6th annual Black Excellence 5K, sponsored by the Juneteenth Association. It is a fundraiser for NSJA, as well as allowing people the chance to see the impact of Black people within the community. Here's a clip from the event.
Hi, my name is Angel Green, and I am one of the race coordinators. They like to call me race director, but it's an all hands on deck type of deal. I've been involved as one of the race coordinators since 2020. So COVID happened, and so we didn't get to do the race live that year. We did it virtually, but we had a lot of participants, and I made a great little slideshow that showed everyone. People sent in their pictures, and I put a little slideshow together showing that we were cohesive even though it was COVID and we couldn't really be together. So the past 4 years, I guess, here at the Black Excellence 5K. This is our 6th year running, and it's rain or shine. Today it's raining. This is the first year it's rained, but we're gonna have a good day. We've got our crew here working hard. We've got people registering still, all our pre-registrants. I think we probably will hit 300 registrations this year in our 6th year. And it's all going to, this is the biggest fundraiser for the North Shore Juneteenth Association. The route comes out along here on Broadway to Euclid, to Maple, and then, well, actually before it goes to Maple, it sort of goes through the little neighborhood that's right by Flax Pond to try to take it off the main roads. You know, no one goes back in that area too often, so it's cute to see the pond from over there. And then back onto Euclid and Maple, then on to Chestnut, back up Magnolia, and then back onto Euclid, and then right around here to the Walgreens, back onto Broadway, and back into the parking lot. So local Black excellence is being featured here at the start, and there will be prominent figures in Black American culture pictured along the route. And we're just trying to, display positive images of African Americans, prominent African Americans here in local Black excellence and throughout, and just provide educational programming that will dispel the myths that we're having problems here in the community. We want positive imaging.
The City of Lynn announced 16 recipients of Lynnspire grants, ranging from $10,000 to $1,000. The money comes from a $50,000 grant from Mass Development's TDI Creative Cities Initiative, and winners must create and put on their events by the end of this year. Out of 36 total applicants, the 16 selected ranged from groups putting on music festivals, to boat building, to an LGBTQ pop-up center. 2 groups received $10,000, 4 received $5,000, with the remaining 10 winning $1,000 apiece. The grants were open to all, with a preference for Lynn-based creative organizations. According to Sunil Gulab, the project manager for the City of Lynn Creative Cities Initiative, quote, "This is our first granting opportunity through the Creative Cities Initiative, and I believe our outreach efforts paid off in a great way. Being able to support and showcase local creatives by empowering them to dream about what they can do to benefit the city is very satisfying," end quote. Wrapping up their 125th year anniversary celebrations, the Lynn Museum hosted a speakeasy themed party with live performances where all came in costume. Here's more from the event.
This is the conclusion of our 125th anniversary as an organization in Lynn. We were founded in 1897 to preserve and collect history and artifacts of Lynn.
It's important to keep the Lynn Museum going, right? I mean, I think the Lynn Museum is a very important part of the City of Lynn, so it's very important to keep it going.
This is the conclusion. It was a year-long celebration, and we're following this up with a Prohibition-themed event. Speakeasy, the back door, hence the hat.
Why do you think they chose the theme of Prohibition and speakeasies?
It's a very identifiable block of time, and there are only a few of those.
I hope that people will realize we've been here for 125 years, preserving and collecting and educating people on Lynn's fabulous history. Lynn is one of the oldest communities in the country, and everything that's happened in America has happened in Lynn. Prohibition, war, peace, everything has happened here. The history of America is the history of Lynn. The history of Lynn is the history of America.
The Massachusetts House of Representatives passed their 2024 fiscal year budget, which includes $1.5 million for various Lynn organizations and programs. $850,000 is going towards public health programs, including $100,000 apiece to the Lynn Police Department and Lynn Community Health Center. Youth soccer programs, Gannon Golf Course, Clark Park, as well as Kings Beach and Long Beaches all received varying levels of funding. The New American Association of Massachusetts received a good chunk of funding with $150,000 to continue their mission of helping the refugee community. May 1st is recognized as May Day, or Workers' Day, which recognizes the struggles and accomplishments made by the labor union. Dozens of workers gathered at Lynn Common and marched to GE in acknowledgement of the holiday. Take a look.
Thank you all for coming, standing in solidarity with the working class of the North Shore. Not only the North Shore, but the entire world today who celebrates May Day.
Our message could not be more clear and more simple. We want affordable housing for all. How can it be that in Lynn we have thousands of people who cannot afford a good place to live? Lo que queremos es muy claro. Queremos vivienda asequible. ¿Cómo puede ser que tenemos miles de personas aquí en Lynn?
No importa de dónde seas tú, tu raza, tu idioma, porque para todos nosotros el tener un techo es un derecho.
It doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter what language you speak, because the right to have a roof, it's a right within ourselves. And with these rent prices, it means that only the wealthy, the rich, can
that live there.
Is lobbying at the State House to pass key legislation that will impact the lives of working class people.
El 509 está luchando también para poder impactar las vidas a través de esto a los trabajadores que están ahí activos.
The New Lynn Coalition, neighbor to neighbor, they're fighting for housing in Lynn.
La coalición de Nuevo Lynn, vecino a vecino y muchos más están luchando para vivienda asequible en Lynn.
I want to say that because all of us here, all of this family needing the basic roof over their head and food in the table for the next generation of Lynn citizens. And not only that, I wish that the city of Sin becomes the city of hope and dreams.
What do we want? When do we want it? To have a roof first?
Vision Lynn hosted office hours where members of the community could come and discuss the draft of Vision Lynn released last month. All public comments on the draft must be in by May 15th. Here's more of what they had to say.
Hi, my name is Lauren Drago. I'm the Associate Planner for the City of Lynn, and we're here today for office hours to talk about Vision Lynn. This is the comprehensive plan for the City of Lynn, and right now we have a draft available for public comment. We're hosting a number of these open sessions for people to come and ask questions about the plan, tell us if they have any feedback, or just chat about what they would like to see in Lynn over the next 20 years. If you would like to participate, we have one more session coming up online. It'll be Tuesday, May 9th, and you can find all the information on our website, www.linnincommon.com/vision-lynn.
Hola a todos, me llamo Faustina, trabajo para la oficina del alcalde y soy la oficial de diversidad, equidad e inclusión de la ciudad de Lynn. Estoy aquí para hablarles de Visión Lynn, el plan integral de la ciudad. Es muy importante que ustedes nos dejen saber sus comentarios, sus opiniones del plan. Estamos aquí en otra ubicación hoy en la comunidad para que ustedes vengan a hablar con nosotros. El mayo 9 tenemos otro local, pero ese va a ser virtual. Por favor, ingrésense en linnincommon.com para que puedan saber más de lo que está pasando con Visión Lynn. Y por favor, sus voces es muy importante para hablar de este plan integral y para que ustedes den su opinión de qué tipo de ciudad queremos ser y qué el futuro de Lynn, que tiene que ver con ustedes, pueda ser. Aquí, ¿ok? Nos vemos pronto y gracias por escuchar este mensaje.
On deck, the sports update. English baseball was able to hold on for a 2-1 pitcher's duel with Saugus. The combination of Jason Figueroa for 5 innings and Wilfredo Perez for the remaining 2 held the Saugus to just 1 run. Their girls' tennis team was also victorious, 3-2 against Revere. St. Mary's struggled in baseball, falling 11-4 against an undefeated Masco. They fought hard, but were unable to stop the red-hot streak Masco finds themselves on to begin the season. The team lost again, 7-3 to Malden Catholic. With these losses, they drop below 500 on the season, moving to 4-6 on the season. They made a step in the right direction with a 5-1 victory against Arlington Catholic, led by pitcher Tommy Falasca, who threw 6 1/3 innings with 9 strikeouts. Their softball team had another dramatic walk-off win when Lori Soriel hit the game-winning single to drive in Brooke Maloney. This boosts their momentum and their record to 8-1. The Spartans lost again in girls lacrosse, 12-8 to Malden, despite Ava Nason scoring 5 goals. In an all-important game with Arlington Catholic, St. Mary's squeaked by with a 12-11 win as goalie Peyton Quirk recorded 17 saves. In boys lacrosse, they are showing improvement, but still lost 11-4 to Arlington Catholic on the 3rd. A 15-1 stomping of Salem Academy by Lynn Tech baseball was led by Will McCaffrey with 11 strikeouts in 5 innings, supported by 4 Tigers having multi-hit games. Their 2 victories in the past week have made them the item team of the week. Tech softball has had a rough start to the season and are still seeking their first win at 0-5. Most recently, they fell to Mystic Valley Regional 16-0 at home and the Minutemen Regional 33-0. Their girls track and field team also had a strong showing. Brianna Anderson had 4 wins and 5 other Tigers secured victories. The boys had an equally impressive showing as 3 Tigers had 2 wins apiece plus a win in the 2-mile. The classical softball team pulled off a 7-6 win over Mustang, defending their home diamond. With a 6-6 tie in the 6th, classical never backed down, with several players stepping up, including freshman Brooke Braswell, who hit a single up the middle to regain the lead. After Mustang tied the score again at 7-7, Michaela Poison, the senior pitcher and captain, got on base before stealing second, third, and finally home when the Mustang catcher bobbled the pitch. This was followed by an 8-5 loss to Everett when Everett scored 6th in the 6th. The classical baseball team is on a run, sitting at 9-1 on the year. Most recently, they traveled to Revere, winning 8-6. They had another away game on the 28th against Medford, coming away with another victory as the visiting team at 9-3. While their volleyball team was down 3-1 by Medford, where Ram Viet Tran had 21 kills and 10 dings. They came back with a 3-2 win over Everett on the 3rd. Lynn Jets have found their rhythm, winning back-to-back games over 2 games. First it was Salem, who fell 13-6, with Steven DeFilipino notching 4 goals for Lynn. Tuesday, despite the rain, they once again grabbed a win in enemy territory, 10-4 over Somerville. Christian Sereno had 13 saves in the game, helping the Jets get to 7-4 this year. The Red Sox had an impressive 7-1 victory on the 30th, sandwiched by 2 walk-off wins. Both were accomplished by Alex Verdugo, who drove in the winning run in the 10th inning versus the Guardians on the 29th and hit a home run in the bottom of the 9th on the 1st for the 6-5 victory over the Toronto Blue Jays. They went on to sweep the 4-game series against the Jays by scores of 7-6 on the 2nd, off 2 home runs, a single, and a double by catcher Connor Wong, 8-3 on the 3rd, and 11-5 on the 4th, off 16 hits by Sox players. The Boston Bruins are out of the playoffs, even though they entered as the #1 seed. They went ahead 3-1 over the 7th-seeded Florida Panthers before losing the next 3 games, including 2 in overtime. On the flip side, the Boston Celtics have advanced to the next round of playoffs. In the first game against the Philadelphia 76ers on the 1st, they lost 119-115 in a high-scoring showdown. Jason Tatum dominated with 39 points, with Al Horford and Jaylen Brown also notching 6 rebounds apiece. The Celtics would not go away, however, as they dominated the second game, winning 121-87. They scored 35 in the 3rd, including a 13-0 run to begin the period. Malcolm Brogdon had the hot hand, scoring 23, including hitting 6 of 10 3-point attempts. Brown was the top scorer with 25, as Derek White and Marcus Smart also got in on the action with 15 each. On the Lowdown, we welcome the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund to discuss their gala and scholarships they give out. Here is the Lowdown. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on Vicky Rivera, the president of the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Danny, thanks for having me. Really happy to be here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We always love having different organizations on. So I'll start off by saying, asking, when did you become the president?
So I just became the president in the fall, so not too long ago. Super psyched to be able to help lead this organization to new heights. Yeah.
And they're all volunteer positions.
Yes, so we have currently a 10-member board. We are all volunteer. It's a volunteer working board, which means that folks have real professional lives outside of this work, and we're all just, very excited and passionate about helping our young people. Yeah.
And I'll ask how you initially got involved, because you do have some family involvement. So is that how you initially got connected to it? Or?
Yeah, so as it turns out, the organization was started in 1991. A family friend of ours, Maria, affectionately Lucy Tisol, learned about a young man in the community who had not been able to graduate because he needed one class, just one class. It was like a summer school course. And she just decided to do a collection. At the time in Lynn, there was a Puerto Rican social club called Eco Borincano, and there was a Dominican social club called Club Quisqueyano. And she basically, went to other Latino folks in the community and said, okay, we have this young person, we need to come together and help them. And that was the brainchild. Lucy's idea then, converged into creating a 501c3 for the Lynn Hispanic Scholarship Fund Incorporated. And she recruited other people in the community, including my mom. Most of the folks were, locals. Some people were college educated, many were not, but saw the need to help our young people be able to go on to college. So yeah.
It is. It's pretty incredible. You think what one person created, and now all these years later, you have a very large, very impressive organization.
Yeah.
And one of the things you're coming on to talk about is the annual gala that you do, the scholarship gala that's coming up next month.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's become a family affair. I forgot to mention earlier, my sister was president at one time, and the gala has become a combination event. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year, and it's also the award ceremony. And so the idea is really to be able, to honor our students, our scholarship recipients. We historically have given out about 10 to 12 scholarships in the last, decade or so, about $1,000 each student. And really, it's an opportunity to bring the whole community together, be it the students, scholarship recipients themselves, family members, people who wrote recommendation letters for them, other loved ones in the community. Then we have obviously the community of the board, the working board, and then government officials and other supporters, just general supporters and sponsors in the community. Yeah.
It does. And the way that it's talked about, it's like everyone within the community is sort of like a family. It's a big family affair, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting. I was born here, and I've seen sort of how the demographics have changed in Lynn. When I was a kid back in the day, Latinos were here, but not so prevalent as they are today. I know in Lynn Public Schools, I think it's over 65% of the student body are of Latino Hispanic descent. I went to St. Mary's, and 30% of the students there are of Latino Hispanic descent. And in KIPP, my kids go there, and I've seen tons of kids. They have a huge portion of the student body is also Latino. And this is a great way that we can give back to our kids. Many of us, myself included, were first generation in this country, and also to college. And to be able to help our young people get to the next level is really what this is about. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll ask a little bit, what are the requirements for the scholarship? And for anyone interested, how does the application process usually work?
Yeah, so we are very much centered on Lynn. And in order for students to be eligible for the scholarship, they have to reside in Lynn. They have to go to one of the Lynn high schools. That includes any of the LPS schools, as well as KIPP and St. Mary's. And they have to be of Latino Hispanic descent. So those are the eligibility criteria. We do not have a GPA minimum or maximum. We definitely look for students who are showing leadership, and that can be displayed in different ways. There's an essay that students have to fill out. They're also required to submit a recommendation letter that can come from a school official. It can be from someone in the community, in a general community, an employer, or a pastor or a priest. And there's an essay. And then they have to prove that they've been admitted somewhere. So they have to show their letter of admission. Yeah.
Okay.
But it can be for students that are going to four-year colleges, two-year colleges, or certificate training programs. Very much open. Yeah.
So there's a vast, in terms of what they could be going into.
Yes, absolutely. We're just trying to encourage people to go for higher education opportunities. It opens up doors. We've seen that over the years, that the more you are prepared, the better salary options and opportunities in life. And Lynn historically has been a working class town where families work really, really hard. And we want it to be so that the next generation has even more opportunities. And being able to prepare yourselves and educate yourselves, really that's what the goal is for our young people.
As a recent college grad, I definitely understand that making the connections, growing your network, being able to do that is so incredibly important.
Yes.
And looking ahead, you said, look how much you've grown in these last several years. Ahead, what are some of the goals for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited about growing our impact. And I say this to my board all the time, but the reality is that, there's so many professions that don't exist today that will exist 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And our goal is to be able to get our young people to look at all these different options and by preparing themselves, right? And so as a first gen to college student myself, I know that I had people that helped me. I was very fortunate to be involved in the Upward Bound program through North Shore Community College. They were instrumental. Every organization that exists out there can only serve a certain number of students. And so our goal is to be able to serve more young people. Ideally, be able to help our young people earlier on, meaning, okay, we have, right now the students have to be seniors in high school to apply for the scholarship, and it's a one-year scholarship. If I had my, my dream of dreams come true, we would be able to have students apply for multi-year scholarships, be able to give out scholarships in larger amounts of money, and also to be able to do more prep stuff with kids when they're in high school. Even as close as like 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, to start preparing students and opening up the possibilities earlier. So the students can understand this is a reality, like this is something that I can do for myself. And I think it's really important. Our board is made up predominantly of Latino professionals. And so that students can see, okay, oh wait, there's people that look like me. Like this is something I could do too. It's not just like I'm the only one in the room. Yeah.
Other people that look like them, they see them being successful, having the careers, and it's...
Hopefully,
yes,
yeah, that's the goal. Yeah.
And I didn't ask you before with the gala, but it's, like you said, multifaceted event. How do you plan something like that?
Yeah, it takes a lot of hustle. I like to call it the behind-the-scenes magic. Our board, we're all individuals in different fields, and the idea really is to be able to get our students connected, right? And so we have made a lot of outreach to different organizations in the community, you name it, banks, education, other nonprofits who've been supportive in the past and will continue to be supportive, either through sponsorships or putting in ads in our gala book, or just donations, right? Yeah. And the reality is we're reaching out. We're reaching out to the whole community. Businesses, that you don't have to be Latino owned. How many people, serve the Latino community? Pretty much every organization and business in town. And so we really are doing lots of outreach. And the idea is to be able to have a really beautiful celebration on May 19th. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for people who are interested in going, as you have to get tickets, I'm assuming?
Yes. So if you go to our website, LynnHispanicScholarshipFund.org, on that website we have an Eventbrite link, and the idea is really you can buy tickets for the event up until the day of. We prefer you buy them beforehand, not just saying. Tickets are $50, and you can get a table of 8 for $350, so you can save a little bit of money that way. Again, through sponsorships, and ads,
Definitely. And we have to wrap up in a second, but is there anything that I hadn't asked about or mentioned that you wanted to talk about the organization?
I think just we really appreciate the support of the community, from the mayor's office to our government officials to the other nonprofits that historically have been great partners for us. We thank you for that, and we hope that you can continue to support our efforts so that we can help more and more young people go on to better and brighter futures.
Mm-hmm. Takes a village, right?
Yeah, it definitely takes a village. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for coming on to discuss the organization.
Awesome. We really appreciate it. If any questions come up, please, feel free to check out our website. We are also on Facebook. We're also on Instagram and LinkedIn. So for folks that go to any of those media outlets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. And say thank you again for coming on. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we will see you next week with more guests. Up next, the community calendar. Thursday, May 11th, the Social Security Administration is putting on a workshop titled Social Security One-on-One in recognition of Older Americans Month. Hosted at the Lynn Library, call the main desk at 781-595-0567 to register for this event. Come to learn all you need to understand about Social Security and how the system works. Friday the 12th, Soundscape Visions, a live performance, is taking place at Lynn Arts, beginning at 7:30 and running until 9 p.m. The show is a fusion of art, music, and visual art. It is required to RSVP due to limited capacity, but the event is free and open to the public. There will be live painting, a feature video, as well as musical performances. Beyond Walls will be conducting a dual event, cleaning up the streets of Lynn while also participating in a mural tour. If you wish to come, go to Beyond Walls Studio at 10 a.m. for an hour-and-a-half walk through the community. For more information, go to lyntv.org. That is all the news for this week. To stay up to date on all the latest happenings in the city, follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television. Also go to Lynn Community Television on YouTube for all our latest videos and content. And visit lyntv.org for interviews, press releases, and our community calendar. I'm Danny Vittori. This is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.